Murray here to take you through the week on HRTV. And we've got a few questions. Who will ever catch Pat Day?
Pat Day holds the record, 2,482.
Gonna need close to a couple grand more, Willie.
What is missing from this picture?
Julian's missing something. I can't quite figure out what it is.
When can we see Rachel again?
And one of those horses who's going to test out the lights in the morning is Rachel Alexandra. She will be out for a workout here at Churchill Downs, too.
Where is Durkin's favorite place to call a race?
Saratoga is my favorite, while the most difficult.
And how do you handicap a Dachshund Derby?
Obviously, that dog just loves the Tapeta.
Calvin Borel's win in the Derby this year was just one of his 926 wins at Churchill Downs, making him the second winningest jockey at Churchill Downs.
Smoke Trail is just hanging on to the lead. Dewdrop in with one. Last late lunge, not enough. Smoke Trail scrapes the rail to win.
I don't think, Sean, that Calvin's going to catch Pat Day.
What's the difference here?
Well, Calvin just became the second all-time leading rider with 926 victories. Impressive.
Yeah.
Pat Day holds the record, 2,482.
Gonna need close to a couple grand more, Willie.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
well, 1,500.
Don Brumfield is third now. He had 925, so Borel has 926. But just to lend perspective, Churchill Downs has been around for hundreds of years.
135 years.
2,482 wins for Pat Day all time at Churchill Downs.
Just at that track.
Unreal.
Most riders never get that done in a career.
But congratulations, Calvin Borel, yet another milestone.
The day after his record ride, Borel had another win at Churchill, showing off his signature route.
Heads have turned into the home stretch. Distinctive Dixie has got the lead. Mrs. Zeller has got the rail and tried to get through and hit the rail. And there was real bumping there. Four of them in line. Swift Temper to the outside. Mrs. Zeller terrier-like towards the inside. Racing down now towards the 16th. Mrs. Zeller against the inside rail. Swift Temper on the outside. Mrs. Zeller has taken the lead. Mrs. Zeller and Calvin Borel. Mrs. Zeller. What a game performance! That became a street fight, and Mrs. Zeller won the battle.
He's called the Triple Crown, the Breeders' Cup, and races at tracks across the country. But where is announcer Tom Durkin's favorite place to call a race?
You've called races all around the country at fabled racetracks like Hialeah, Meadowlands, Aqueduct, Belmont, of course, the New York tracks and fairs in Wisconsin. Where's your favorite track to call a race of all time?
Saratoga is my favorite, while the most difficult. It's harder to see the horses there because you're just low and there's trees all over those places. I'm gonna go out in the middle of the night some night with a hacksaw.
No.
Of course, I'm kidding, but it's hard to call the races there. But you know, you're so close to the crowd, and the crowd is so into it, and you can really work the crowd at Saratoga. You can really. They interact with you, and that's great. You know, you can say something, and you know, people might laugh and say something, people might cheer, and then you get quiet for a while, and then boom, give them something, and they react to that, and it's and you're up close, right to the horses. You know, you're right on top of them, and it's more of a visceral feel than you get there that you get anywhere else. It's really like horse racing.
Tom, I was at Saratoga for closing week this year, and on the final race of the season, you wrapped it up, bid adieu to all the fans, and then put in a good "arr" there right at the end. And then I saw you scoot out of there on your scooter with your suit jacket and your helmet and the whole bit. Is that your mode of transportation up at Saratoga?
My little Vespa, yeah, my Vespa. You know, I'm just zipping around there on my canary yellow Vespa. You know, I can zip around everybody trying to get out of there. It takes 20, 25 minutes to get out of the parking lot at Saratoga. If you're in a car, if you're in a Vespa, you just, you know, zip right everybody, and I'm home having a Chardonnay in 4.5 minutes.
Durkin has also called 9 races won by commentator, including 2 Whitneys and his latest win Friday at Belmont.
Joe Corrigan and Stud Muffin are battling for the runner-up spot. Johnny Velasquez asking for nothing from this classy old performer, commentator, and it's on to Saratoga to try for a Whitney triple.
This race, you could tell it was over from the backside. Commentator was so relaxed out there on the front end, and not salty fractions either.
Well, after seeing 24-75, 48-94, if he would have got beat today, you'd just know Father Time had caught up with them. But this is what I'm sure Nick Zito and the owner, Tracy Farmer, are going to be very tickled to see commentator win, not only win, but win the way he did.
Trainer Henry Marino was this week's guest on Across the Board, and he recalls one of his favorite fillies.
When you look back and you think about Tisna and the run that you had, 15 wins and 54 starts, what's the one thing that comes to mind?
Well, one thing that she was a tough mare because I couldn't even ruin her. So she had to be pretty tough. But she was a great mare. Matter of fact is, I won the ladies handicap in New York in '75, and Susan's girl was third. And this was on a Saturday. On Sunday, I shipped her here to Santa Anita, and I nominated her for a stake on the grass coming down the hill, and she'd never been on the grass. And they put 127 pounds on her, and I entered her just to see how she looked in there. I wasn't going to run her. But it got close to the race, and I put her in, and she won easy. And it wasn't 3 weeks later or so, I took her to San Francisco and ran her in a stake there. She ran a mile and an eighth in the mile and 16th and 1:41.1. It went the first mile in 34.3 and one, you might say, eased up, and they had 130 pounds on her there. And so I brought her back here and ran her in the San Gregorio, I think, wasn't it? They put 132 on her, and that's about 3 weeks, maybe a month later. And she won that with 132 pounds. So she was, I couldn't destroy her.
When HRTV Rewind returns, we're expecting the world's best racehorses for the Breeders' Cup.
We've seen a few reports from John Ox, the trainer overseas, that there is interest in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
And the world's best race dogs take over Golden Gate.
Obviously, that dog just loves the Tapeta.
Well, welcome back from New York. It's bullet drill time. You've done some good work here. And if I was going to ask you who's the biggest bird, would it be Summer or mine right now?
Well, Mind That Bird's a little horse, so I'll say Summer Bird, but maybe when it comes to the voting, Mind That Bird's still with the edge.
Right now, Mind That Bird has the edge. All right, Open Sesame. How wide open now is the 3-year-old? Picture after 3 Triple Crown.
Anybody can win it in the colt division. I mean, Rachel's got the filly division racked up, but Mind That Bird still has some work to do to clinch the Eclipse Award.
All right, so we've got the Big Bird, we've got the Sesame. Let's go to the street. Who crosses the street? Whose paths collide? Rachel and Zenyatta, or Rachel and the Birds?
I think Rachel and the Birds, because I don't think Rachel's going to take on Zenyatta. I think, unfortunately, they're going to go their separate ways, which is racing's loss, but we'll see what happens.
Many paths will collide on the first Saturday in November for the 26th Breeders' Cup at Santa Anita, including a few contenders from across the pond.
Saw See the Stars take the Epsom Derby. What do you know of See the Stars' plans in terms of the Breeders' Cup?
Well, I think we've seen a few reports from John Ox, the trainer overseas, that there is interest in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He had indicated after the Derby that the synthetic surface, he called it polytrack-like. He did not call it, obviously, pro-ride, but he's getting his point across that it might be favorable to See the Stars, and certainly we consider it an option, and I think it's terrific in our efforts to continue to promote the international nature of the Breeders' Cup. I would say, interestingly enough, some of the feelings we had coming out of it last year was more like a Ryder Cup, where Europe won the Breeders' Cup, and now America will try to win it back.
How important is it to get the Euros here? And with that in mind, will that affect in the coming decade synthetic tracks maybe getting the bid over a conventional dirt track?
It's a fair question, Peter. I would say that we are very encouraging of getting overseas horses. If you call yourself a world championship and you're trying to encourage international competition, something that sets you apart from other events in the sport here in North America, you try to do that. And I think you find that wherever you go, that horsemen favor certain tracks. Depends on where you are, and the factors change from year to year. With the exception of this year, obviously running for a second consecutive year at Santa Anita.
The best horses in the world meet at the Breeders' Cup, and the best dogs in the world meet at Golden Gate Fields.
Welcome back, everybody. John White, Peter Lurie. This just took place at Golden Gate. The fans being entertained by the wiener dogs. And look at that. There is a wiener dog. That is Rocket, moving like a tremendous machine.
Ah, well played. Rachel Alexandra, you may have something to worry about. But more importantly, have you seen All Rocket could think of was, okay, where's my treat? Okay, enough of this. All right, you get a trophy. That's great. Where is it? Watch this when he stops. He stops. He looks happy. He also looks like he's part Cocker Spaniel, by the way, with all that fur. But he crosses over the line, and he immediately goes to his owner and says, yeah, that's great. Where is my treat?
I'll tell you what, that is a tremendous synthetic dog.
Baby, I love you. And he's like, that's great. Where's the food?
I mean, that dog loves the
Bred
tapeta
for the
surface.
synthetic.
So obviously that dog just loves the tapeta.
I want to see what happens if they file their nails down and that kind of Queen's plate thing for the turf. Interesting.
The championship winner of the last Dachshund series. They're off.
If you thought those dogs were fast, check out these sprinters at Calder's Summit of Speed Preview Day.
Mambo Meister ahead in front. Mambo Meister, Baron Von Tapp trying to hang tough from the inside. It's Mambo Meister and Manuel Cruz opening up late, and Mambo Meister wins the Blazing Sword. You lucky man now back to the outside. You lucky man working all hard today, and he will get the hard-fought win. Don't tell me what to do in First Passage. Here comes Going to the Sun, and First Passage coming 2 to their 1. First Passage and Jermaine Bridgemahan draw off to win the Leave Me Alone. It's Marina Ballerina past the 16th pole. Marina Ballerina from Jessica is back, and BR's girl, Marina Ballerina, wire to wire in the You Can Do It. How's Your Halo in front now by 3. Green Vegas takes up the chase. Processor's Turf from the back of the pack, but How's Your Halo on his game today, and he will score the mild upset in the Ponch Handicap.
Jockey Fernando Jara stopped by Race Day America just before making his return to racing Saturday at Arlington Park.
Fernando Jara is on the line. Fernando, welcome to Race Day America.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice to have you here. You've had so much success over the years, first in the States and you left for Dubai, now back at Arlington Park. How excited are you to get things underway at Arlington?
I am. I'm very happy to be here again. Well, we're going to work hard, to try to do good again.
Fernando benefited from the Race Day America luck. He won 2 races on Saturday.
Here's Sweepy Bluff and Fast Albert, the stand side charge. Debs Conti is 4th. Fast Albert and Sweepy Bluff in a bobber. The winning groom leading in the 6th, Fast Albert with Fernando Jara. Inside the final 16th, Boo Prince is head-to-head with My New Lady. My New Lady just with the upper hand on Boo Prince, My New Lady. A riding double for Fernando Jara. Earlier partnering Fast Albert to a nose win in race 3. The winning groom leads in the 8th, My New Lady.
Allison Campbell shares details of the golf tournament and auction scheduled for late July, benefiting Renee and the Douglas family.
It's the racing community way, isn't it? Where if someone's injured or needs help, we rally around. And this always warms your heart to see these things taking place. Tell us a little bit about the upcoming golf tournament to benefit Renee.
Well, as you said, all of us horsemen stick together, and Renee was such an avid golfer that we thought this was going to be the best way to honor him and to raise funds for him and his family. So this is going to take place on July 20th, 2009. It's going to be at Indian Lakes Golf Course in Bloomingdale, Illinois. So we have lots of sponsor possibilities still available for anyone and anyone who'd like to help out.
How about the silent auction? I would imagine you're accepting donations for that silent auction?
We are. We're accepting donations of all kinds. We've got some great stuff coming in already, some signed items from Robbie Alvarado and Calvin Burrell. But again, we're looking to get anything we can for that silent auction.
Seeing another wife of a jockey going through this, is it hard for you to see that, with the thought of your husband being a rider as well?
It's very hard, and it's always something that's in the back of our minds, and you never expect it to happen to you or to anyone close. But it certainly has been, it's been an honor for me to be able to stand by and help Natalie and their family get through this. And, like we said before, we just want to stick by each other and do whatever we can to help the family.
We're looking at the flyer that was released. There's a heart with an 11 on it. What does that mean?
Actually, Renee's favorite number is 11. So one of his close friends started actually putting some buttons together with the heart and the 11 in there. So that's kind of our new way of showing our support for Renee around Arlington Park in the Chicago area. Just wanted to make a note, too, that we're actually going to have some great horsemen out here. Robbie Alvarado has committed to come in. Lafitte Pincay is coming. And we're also going to have some Chicago area pro athletes playing with us. So it's really going to be a great event benefiting Renee.
The Eddie Gregson Foundation offers scholarships to children of backstretch workers and was named to honor a man who cared deeply about helping others in the racing community. For many of the workers on the backside of racetracks throughout the country, it has been a struggle just to get there. And though their dreams for their children are as strong as any parents', some of these men and women do not have the means to truly give their children every opportunity in life. But for the workers on the backside, there was always one man on their side, helping them work toward their goals. His name was Eddie Gregson.
Eddie's concern was to improve conditions for all the backstretched workers and their children. And Eddie always tried to treat his help very, very well. Tried to make it a meaningful kind of relationship.
He was always great with his employees. I don't think he ever fired anybody that I can remember. I mean, he had the same assistant, same gallop boy, same grooms, everything.
His whole premise was to take care of those that are taking care of the horses.
When HRTV Rewind returns, we hope you're not afraid of the dark.
We're starting something new here, and that'll be next Friday with night racing.
And a three-time winner of the Stephen Foster.
Macho again is out in front, down the outside, Arson Squad. Einstein got out late, it's too late today.
Robbie Alvarado at his best on Stephen Foster Day. That is 3 consecutive Stephen Foster handicaps for Robbie Alvarado. He won with Curlin last year. Today, without the favorite at 7-1, Macho again.
We are very pleased to be joined by Einstein's trainer, Helen Pitts-Blasi. Helen, welcome to the show. Scott Hazelton alongside Miss Carolyn Conley.
Thank you so much. It's good to hear from you again, Scott. Hopefully you bring me luck again this time.
I promise you, we did. Hey, we did on across the board, so we're going to do it again here.
Don't be jinxing me now.
Sorry, Helen, but we also had Macho Again's trainer Dallas Stewart on Race Day America.
Well, I think he's got a big shot to it. You know, I know he's run well in the mud, but you know he's also won on dry tracks. But it's a very good race today. Helen's horse is a very tough campaigner. You know, a great horse. But I think my horse is going to perform well today.
What happened last race?
I think just kind of a slow pace scenario. Didn't give him much to run at. Maybe a little shorter than he wants to run. I think he really likes 1 1/8 miles. You know, he was coming on the end. And just pretty much that. I think the pace was just a little slow for him. So, you know, he came back. He bounced out of the race good. His works have been good since then. He's eaten well. I just think it was a pace scenario, and I hope we get a good pace. It looks like they've got 3 speed horses today. And he's trained excellent for this race. So we're very we're confident, but not overconfident. We feel like he'll perform well today.
Einstein going for the same gap there with Asiatic Boy, and he couldn't get an out.
You know, when you garner the kind of respect that Einstein has and Le Peru goes out there, you're going to have a big bullseye on your back. Everybody knew where Einstein was, and nobody was going to give him an inch.
Einstein still trying to get an out, and he's running out of real estate. Macho again is out in front, down the outside, Arson Squad. Einstein got out late, it's too late today. Macho again has won the Stephen Foster.
It doesn't matter who you're on and if you are the favorite. When they put all those zeros behind the 5 and the purse money there, it's a grade 1. Nobody's going to get any special benefit. I don't care if it's Einstein or who it was. Hats off, credit to Julian Le Peru when he tried to get through that hole at the 8th pole. He tried it once. Nah, you're not getting through here. Took care of the horse. There was no sense in knocking him around. It's a long year. He's a good horse. He's a proven horse. Unlucky not to win today, but he's going to live to fight another day.
And Robbie Alvarado at his best on Stephen Foster Day. That is 3 consecutive Stephen Foster handicaps for Robbie Alvarado. He won with Curlin last year. Today, without the favorite at 7-1, Macho again.
Kate and Bradar and Jill Byrne were live at Churchill for Stephen Foster Day.
and also previewed a new nighttime addition to Churchill Downs.
We're starting something new here, and that'll be next Friday with night racing. The lights are already up on this side and putting the rest of the lights up. Post time will be 6 p.m. and aside from spectacular racing, which we always have, all the activities that are going to be going on here at Churchill, it's just going to be a really exciting time here in Louisville.
Well, HRTV is going to be here in full force. Peter Lurie's coming in from California to join me as well. We'll be here with you. And, you know, I was in Chicago when the lights went on at Wrigley Field, so I kind of feel the same type of atmosphere is going to be expected. I think we'll see a full house and a lot of great racing, of course, as we always do. But horsemen, by the way, are going to have an opportunity to test out the lights on Monday and Tuesday, training earlier in the morning than is usual, so their horses can get accustomed to it, and it's going to be a treat for everybody.
And one of those horses who's going to test out the lights in the morning is Rachel Alexandra. She will be out for a workout here at Churchill Downs, too. So that'll be next Friday night. It'll be the first of Friday night racing here at Churchill Downs, and we're certainly looking forward to that. And certainly enjoyed a great day of racing here on Super Saturday, Stephen Foster Day from Churchill Downs.
I'll be throwing out the first pitch at Churchill Downs. Don't ask me why, they just said you're throwing out the first pitch.
Kentucky is adding nighttime racing to the program this Friday, and possibly slot machines sometime soon.
Well, I think, I don't want to overstate it, but I think the future of Kentucky racing and breeding is on the line. I think that we are facing a crisis situation, the likes of which we have never seen in Kentucky. Our out-of-state competition has been subsidizing their purses and their breeders' incentive funds for the last several years, and it's put Kentucky at a severe competitive disadvantage, and that's where we find ourselves today. And tomorrow, as you say, we go into a special session the legislature is going to consider this proposal to allow our racetracks to install video lottery terminals, and we think that it is crucial.
Has there been any research done to suggest or foreshadow that these video terminals will provide the sort of income in which the state expects? I mean, is there a lot of fan base that is really craving these things at racetracks across the state?
Well, absolutely. And in fact, Kentuckians are leaving the state. We have casinos, riverboat casinos, and also racinos right across our borders in Indiana, Illinois, West Virginia. Kentuckians are gambling roughly $5 billion a year at those locations. The 6 riverboats on our river in Indiana and Illinois alone, Kentuckians are losing roughly $700 million a year.
HRTV also got some inside information on jockey Anna Rose Napravnik.
I never thought about, oh, apprentices compete for an Eclipse Award. I mean, I was just like, am I going to make it? Am I not going to make it? And, you know, my agent and I we started from the bottom. We rode anything we could ride for everybody, and just bringing in the long shots is what got us going.
Our Peak on the outside, odd day, photo finish time, Our Peak 17:01.
She didn't take no for an answer. I remember one race last year, I said to her, I walked in the paddock and I said, I don't know how we're going to win this race. And she just said, just watch me. And sure enough, she won the race.
I thought from day one, I was very instrumental in Julie Crone's career years ago. She was leading rider, I was leading trainer, we teamed up. Rosie reminds me a lot of Julie.
That's all this week on HRTV. Here's what you can look forward to next week.
And Cuff Me gets it in her debut, scored by a nifty 5.5 lengths there.
And Cuff Me, debut winner today at Belmont.
What if she's a broodmare? We'll have all sorts of crazy names going. Dominguez aboard for Anthony.
See, I don't even know how to do it. I've never been cuffed, so I guess you do it like that.
When we come back.
Meanwhile, Churchill Downs, they are at the gate for the 9th race coming up in just a few moments. The field final odds. We do have a late scratch likely candidate is out. Arabian Cheetah, Greeley's Angel, joining them on the sideline. Storm and Yank the favorite.
Actually, that graphic should show the 9 scratched out of this race. That is the late scratch.
There you go.
So
Julian.
9.
Julian's missing something. I can't quite figure out what it is.
Yeah, a horse.
A horse.
Yeah. I got you covered up.
You got it?